What is up, everyone? This is Nick Fiore, Furious Nation YouTube channel right here on YouTube.com. This is your WrestleMania 37 night number 2 preview and predictions video for WrestleMania weekend, for WrestleMania 37 this weekend at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. And yesterday, actually, as a matter of fact, pre-recording this now, but the WrestleMania 37 Night 1 preview and predictions video, it was me and Darwish going over the match card for WrestleMania 37 Night number 1, giving our preview predictions and thoughts and opinions on that. But here on the channel for this very video for WrestleMania Night 2 preview predictions, I have another guest here on the channel. I have been on his channel before, actually. He's making his debut here on the Furious Nation channel. This man is very, very good friend of mine. We've been friends for quite a while. He's the creator of the Big Fight Feel channel on YouTube. Highly, highly recommend checking him out. Really good stuff over there. He knows his shit about pro wrestling, and he covers obviously like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, etc., etc. He's a very passionate wrestling fan, and again, created a Big Fight Field channel. Highly recommend checking him out and subscribing to the Big Fight Field channel as well. And this man is making his debut for the very first time right here on the Furious Nation YouTube channel, right here on YouTube.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Joseph Conlon. Joe, how are you doing, brother?
I am doing excellent, dude. I appreciate you putting me over right there, putting the channel over. I'm recording. We are just 2 days. Everything good?
Yeah, it froze a little bit, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was saying at the time of recording, we are 2 days away from WrestleMania, the official start of it. We have night 1 Saturday, night 2 on Sunday. It is actually, I know Nick Fiore, you were actually at WrestleMania 35. I'm going to be at WrestleMania. I am going to be at WrestleMania 37. This is my first ever WrestleMania live attendance. I'm very excited. I'm doing vlogs for both nights, and I just can't wait to get back to a wrestling show, Mix. It's been it's been over a year. The last wrestling show I went to was Elimination Chamber 2020. It was a good show, I thought, and I'm very excited to go to WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, being back, honestly, and I don't want to waste too much time on this, but I feel like I got to say this right now. Being at a wrestling show does feel like a good thing, and it's like being back live at a live wrestling show. It's like for the first time in a long time. This is a very big deal for WrestleMania, though I'm hoping they put on a good show. But with the build being terrible, but I just hope they put on a good show. But fans being back, this is a very, very big deal, and I do miss fans, especially with AEW and NXT, which they live off the fans, but which TakeOver stand and deliver. Number one, increase fan capacity, which I'm glad they did, to be honest with you. And you said the last time you were at a wrestling event was Elimination Chamber 2020. I was the last wrestling event I went to, well, WrestleMania 35. That was in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. Decent show, but my God, that show was way too long. Though WrestleMania this weekend is night 1, night 2. Do you think it should be both nights going forward?
I do like the 2-match formula. It spreads out both all the matches. You're not collaborating all the matches together and stuff like that. Like 14 matches on the main card, that is out of the mind ridiculous. Yeah, exactly.
Quality over quantity. No. And look at the rosters on both Raw and SmackDown. You have a very, very talented roster on both shows. So I think the two-day format's the way to go, honestly.
Of course. And I think the rumors are going back to the regular format next year and the year after. I would stick with that. I would stick with the 2-night format, even if you have NXT TakeOver on a Thursday or something like that. That's fine with me. But honestly, dude, the thing I'm looking forward to the most of all WrestleMania is hearing the live fans. There's going to be 25 to 30,000 fans each night at WrestleMania, and I hope they bring it. I hope the crowds bring it. I know I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna have lots of energy. I'm probably gonna have no voice going into night two, but I hope the crowd brings it because it's the first. It's like the first show back with like thousands and thousands of people, and it's WrestleMania. So I really do hope that the Raymond James crowd brings it. So I'm excited. I'm sure you're excited for it too, and a lot of people are. But I'm excited to hear that live crowd reaction from people.
Yeah, and there's one thing. It's like without fans, wrestling's nothing. It's like a crowd really does make or it does a crowd really does make or break a show, and those are the facts, people. They are like I like the Thunderdome for Raw and SmackDown. I gotta be honest with you, it sucks. The pipe, the noise, it sucks. It really sucks with the virtual freaking clowns, and they're doing like being forced to cheer and boo certain guys and girls, and it's like it's not organic. It just feels so forced, and I'm sick and tired of this Thunderdome bullshit. It's just it's gotta go. It's gotta go. And I'm hearing rumors they're going to this Yungling or Center University in Tampa after Mania and after Tropicana Field, and they're saying they're going to stick to Thunderdome stuff, and they probably won't have live fans back at shows probably until August. But the Thunderdome shit has got to go. Has got to go. I'm not sure if they're going to return to house shows, which I hope they do, but that's just me though. And with fans back and for WrestleMania this weekend, it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle it. I'm sure they can handle it safe. If NXT would take over Stand and Deliver night one, I'm sure WrestleMania can do it. Plus, with COVID cases going down with the vaccines out right now, so that's another thing. So that's just me, and it sucks that there was a pandemic and all, because actually I was supposed to go to an NXT house show in Poughkeepsie Mid-Hudson Civic Center last year, but they got canceled, rescheduled twice because of COVID. Then they just got rid of it completely.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's like they had it. They were supposed to have it on very like May 1st or May 2nd or May 3rd or something. Then they rescheduled it to late October. Then it got canceled all completely, and I'm like, fuck. It was a damn shame. It really was a damn shame.
That sucks.
But hopefully we get live fans back around the summer. And WrestleMania, you gotta have fans. You have to have fans. Like last year with no fans didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And it
was depressing.
Go ahead.
I said it was depressing.
Yeah, very depressing. It's like you're wrestling in an empty arena match, like a la Mankind and Rock on halftime heat. Remember that?
Yep.
But yeah, WrestleMania this weekend back with fans. WrestleMania, you gotta have fans, even at a limited capacity. It's better than an empty arena show. To be brutally honest with you, Joe. But we do have 7 matches to go over on night 2 WrestleMania 37. No pre-show matches so far. Probably announce it during SmackDown or something like that. But 7 matches to go over here. The night 1 preview predictions for WrestleMania 37. Darvish and I did that. We went over the matches for night number 1. Night 1 looks terrible. Outside of 2 matches, Cesaro and Seth Rollins and Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, which hopefully is the main event of night 1 and not Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre. I don't care what anyone says. Lashley and McIntyre's mid-card at best, unless you add Brock Lesnar. And Bianca won the Royal Rumble. She and Sasha should main event, to be honest. But night 2 does look a lot better than, a lot much better than night number 1. Just look at the matches we got on night 2. Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. We got Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We got Apollo Crews and Big E for the Intercontinental Championship. We got Asuka and Rhea Ripley. So night 2 does look a lot better than night number 1. What are your thoughts on that real quick before we get started?
I do like the night 2 card a lot better than I did the night 1 card. I know I'm gonna have a lot to say about the triple threat main event for the Universal Championship. We'll get to that when we get to that. We also have some pretty good matches on the show. You can't forget about Sheamus and Riddle, who
Oh
they
yeah, that
tear it
too.
up all the time when they have great matches. You can't forget about the Fiend, even though he's facing Randy Orton in a
Uh,
match again.
the Fiend,
Um,
yeah. I'm hearing rumors. Listen to this, Joe. And I just read this. Listen to this. There are rumors going around now with the Fiend and Orton in a match at WrestleMania night number 2 that they're gonna have Orton just job to the Fiend, which I hope not. I hope not. You're gonna have Randy Orton, a 14-time world champion, job clean to a dead character in the Fiend.
it's not jobbing like what I read. I'm pretty sure you read the same thing as me. I read it over the weekend. They said that that they're gonna have the Fiend beat Randy Orton in like 5 minutes or less. You know what, dude? I'd much rather have that than a 15-minute match with the Fiend and Randy Orton in a singles match. Because my God, that I would actually be really bored by watching that. So if you want to do a a 5 minute match, have the Fiend dominate and move on, you know what? I can't complain with that. I think.
Yeah, just watch the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton's match from 4 years ago at WrestleMania 33 over the WWE Championship.
Oh God, I remember that
That match was terrible, boring,
the
and
spiders
their
and
House of Horrors match was no better. Remember that at Payback 4 years
yep,
ago?
yep.
That was horrible. Logic caps everywhere. Then he had Jinder Mahal show up, who by the way he's a former WWE champion who killed SmackDown 4 years ago.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, um, if it's a 5 minute match, then yeah, I guess okay. But it's like Orton and the Fiend. It's like no one has interest in that. That Orton has to get out of that feud. Just move him on to something more relevant. You know, Randy Orton deserves a lot better. And I'll tell you, 2021 has not been kind to Orton, but we'll talk we'll talk more about that later on in the video. But um, before we get started, I want you to follow me on Twitter at FioriNick579. Go follow me on Twitter. Go follow me on Instagram as well at Nicholas Fiore 2014. And add me as a friend on Facebook if you like at Nicholas Fiore 31. The option's always there. You can add me as a friend on Facebook if you like. Option's always there for you guys. And Joe, where can we follow you on Twitter and etc.?
You can follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. We're about 2,200 followers on Twitter, so I thank you for that. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Big Fight Feel. We are 16 subs away until 400 subscribers. And you can follow me on Instagram as well. Same thing as Twitter, Colin_Joseph.
All right. And make sure you subscribe to Joseph Collins Big Fight Feel YouTube channel. Like he said, 16 subscribers away to 400. Get Joe to 400 subscribers. Get Joe more subscribers. Get Joseph Collins channel bigger. If you've not done so already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Joseph Collins YouTube channel. And right now, about 39 subscribers for the Fury Station channel, though I started last year in August. I would love to hit at least 50 subscribers by the end of this year. So hit the like button and subscribe to the Fury Station YouTube channel as well if you've not done so already. If you haven't, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Subscribe to the Fury Nation channel and hit the like button on the video if you're not done so already. And be sure you hit the bell for all notifications as well so you get notified. Not some, all notifications. So hit the bell for all notifications, subscribe to the Fury Nation channel right here on YouTube, and hit a like on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. And we might as well let's get started, man. WrestleMania 37, night number 2, the match card. 7 matches on the card. And we'll start off with this one. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul. This match is representing SmackDown. This match came about when Sami Zayn did this documentary, the conspiracy and saying the truth and this conspiracy with the Sami Zayn documentary. Then he mentioned Logan Paul and all, and then with Kevin Owens after the Chamber, and Owens and Sami, Kevin and Sami had a little backstage competition about this documentary and such. And then I think it was Sami versus Burger King Baron Corbin, by the way. Weeks ago on SmackDown, Corbin beat him, and Owens was on commentary. After Zayn lost, Sami out of nowhere just hula kicks Owens for disrespecting him with his documentary. And then on SmackDown after that, Sami Zayn bringing in Logan Paul, which I expected to be a disaster, but in fact, it did not turn out as bad as I was expecting it to be. In fact, Logan Paul didn't overstay his welcome. It was no one near Bad Bunny, which Bad Bunny is doing nothing for the Raw ratings, by the way. But Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, sorry. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn, Logan Paul, WrestleMania, yeah. One-on-one at Mania, yeah, no. Sami and Owens at WrestleMania. This was also made about in the Kevin Owens show where Owens said he wanted Sami in a match at Mania, and he tried to get Sami to say yes, 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 yes. Then Owens drops him with a stunner after Sami finally said yes to Owens for a match at WrestleMania. And now we're getting Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens at WrestleMania night number 2. I think this should be a very good match here because Sami and Kevin are real life best friends. They've been friends for years, going back to their Ring of Honor days when Kevin Owens was Kevin Steen and when Sami Zayn was El Generico in a mask before they signed with WWE, with Sami signing in 2013 and with Kevin signing in 2014. So these two are real life best friends. And I'll never forget when Sami and Kevin were together on SmackDown Live back in late 2017 with the Yep movement, when they fought Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 34, with Sami and Kevin with their humor. It was great with the Yep movement t-shirts. It was hilarious. It was great. It was really great. And you know what? And I wish they would have done this late 2017 going into early 2018. I wish Sami and Kevin would have been the SmackDown Tag Team Champs at the time. They were that good at the time. They were that freaking good. But this match, one-on-one with Sami and Kevin, should be a damn good match. And they do say best friends make for a very good match. And Sami and Kevin know each other very well. Not only that, Sami's very good at what he does. Just watch a documentary. I thought it was really good with Logan Paul with Sami Zayn. And Kevin Owens is good at what he does too. You could give Sami and Kevin something terrible. They're going to make it look good. That's how great Sami and Kevin are. That's how good, Kevin and Sami are very good at what they do. You give them chicken shit, they're going to turn it into gold. That's how good Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are. And I expect this match to be very good at WrestleMania. That's my opinion on that. If I had to choose who may win, I think I'm picking Kevin Owens to win this, to be honest, because I don't know if you watch Talking Smack at all on the network or on the WWE network or now on Peacock, but it was on Talking Smack not long ago. Kevin Owens mentioned something about being in the Money in the Bank after WrestleMania. So maybe Owens wins this thing against Sami Zayn, and then Owens is in the Money in the Bank in May, which is, they announced this May is the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So I expect Kevin Owens to win this thing. But what are your thoughts on this, Joe? The floor is yours.
If you give these guys 15 minutes and you give these guys a good story to go tell in the ring, they're going to give you a really good wrestling match. And that's all they need. They need 15 minutes. They need a good story. And they'll have a good match. As far as the match result goes, I do think Kevin Owens is going to get this win. Logan Paul more than likely is going to accidentally cost Sami Zayn this match. And then Sami is going to get all pissed off at Logan Paul. Owens is going to hit a stunner on Sami Zayn. And Logan Paul is going to do some move. What move he's going to do, I have no idea. But Owens gets the win. And as far as after WrestleMania goes, I'd like to see him feud for the IC Championship. I really would like a program with him and, spoiler alert on one of the matches coming up, I like to see him and Apollo Crews feud over the Intercontinental Championship for at least 2 pay-per-views. I think that could be some good stuff. That's that's a decent feud on SmackDown that I could get behind if WWE if they make me care about it. So yeah, Owens wins against Sami Zayn, and then after WrestleMania, he moves on into a Intercontinental Championship feud with Apollo Crews.
That would be decent. Apollo Crews, the heel Nigerian, but we'll talk about that very shortly right after this. But Kevin Owens, I think he should win. I mean, he had this very good feud with Roman Reigns going into the Royal Rumble this past January and TLC last year, and then the Rumble this year, this past January, and then on this last SmackDown of 2020 on Christmas night in that steel cage when Jey Uso handcuffed Owens to the cage and all, which, by the way, Braun thinks there's no interference in a cage match. Braun. Well, we're not talking about Braun Strowman. He sucks.
No.
You know the freight train Braun Strowman. Woo! Because he runs fast.
Yeah.
He runs fast. But yeah, I'm picking Kevin Owens to win this thing. Owens and Crews, I would not mind at all. That's a decent feud. Also, I don't think we've seen it before either. So I think that's also a fresh match, if you ask me.
Yeah, there is a fresh match. I think we saw it one time last year when Crews was the United States champion, and I think it ended in a DQ. So,
Wasn't that with Andrade and Angel Garza, right?
Yep, I think that is a fresh feud, and yeah, I like to see it. I pitched it. I like to see it. So.
And where Crews is at right now as a heel, it could be decent television. And Owens can be heel, he can be face. Like I said a few minutes ago, you could give Kevin Owens any character or something or script or anything to work with. Owens is going to make it look good. That's how good he is. Same thing with Sami Zayn. And Sami's a genius too, by the way. So, but yeah, I'm picking Kevin Owens to win this thing. I think we both got Kevin Owens on the board. I would believe.
Yep.
And then this leads to, we talked about Apollo Crews very shortly moments ago. The next match on WrestleMania 37 night number 2, Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental Championship. Big E defending the Intercontinental Championship against the Nigerian Apollo Crews, who weeks ago showed Big E the steel. So, first question I want to ask you, Joe. What is a Nigerian drum fight? I got to be honest with you. What's a Nigerian drum fight?
Okay, so basically, a Nigerian drum fight is basically a version of no disqualification, weapons, anything goes. So it's basically a no disqualification match. If you ask me, yes, it's a version of either a no disqualification match or a street fight. So yeah, that's all it is.
Because when it was announced weeks ago, because when it was announced on SmackDown, people were on Twitter. It's like, huh? What's a Nigerian street fight? It's like, what?
I was one of them. Yep. I was one of those people.
And it's like, it was like a little cheesy, a little corny, and all. It's like, huh? It's like, but Nigerian drum fight, because Apollo Crews is Nigerian, with his wealth, dominance, and power scarf, which that promo from Apollo Crews with that scarf thing weeks ago was just fantastic. Apollo Crews, man, I gotta say this. Apollo Crews, when he came in to NXT in 2015, he was good then, but then when he got called up in 2016 to the main roster, and then before now, he's always been good in the ring, but the guy lacked character, personality. He couldn't talk. He was not that good on the microphone. I felt like as a babyface, he wasn't really himself, to be honest. He was just like being pretending to be something that he's not. But then he turns heel, and then boom, it just like, and then it's like, that's the Apollo Crews. Then when he comes out with this Nigerian scarf and he cuts this promo with the Nigeria stuff, and I'm like, that's Apollo Crews. That is what Apollo Crews is. Then that's what he said in his promo the week after he talked Shinsuke Nakamura and Big E with the steel steps, and he dropped the steps on Big E, which is great. And And but yeah, and I will say this. In fact, Cruz may be a way better heel than a babyface, if you ask me. Some guys just work better as a heel than a face, like Edge. He works better as a heel. Randy Orton, the same thing, and Sheamus. They're a better villain than a babyface. Some guys are just a natural heel, like Bobby Roode. Remember when Bobby Roode was NXT champion and he was trying to take Roderick Strong's wife, Marina Shafir? He's like, "Hey, Marina, you're with a B+ player in Roderick Strong. Why don't you come with me and I'll show you what a real man looks like." It's like,
Yep, I
where's
do
that
remember
Bobby?
that. I don't know, man. I don't know. But
That Bobby Roode was great. What happened to him? But yeah, Apollo Crews, he may be a better heel than a face, in my opinion. And remember when this guy was on Raw last year as US champ? And he was US champ on Raw last year for one reason only. Who was that? I'll give
Paul
you a hint.
Heyman.
Paul Heyman, yeah, when he was still the Raw executive director. And then Vince removed him and replaced him with our good old buddy Bruce Pritchard. And then what happened? Buried. Fed to Lashley at Payback last year. Then right back to Titus Catering, making good cupcakes, chocolate cupcakes with vanilla cream filling. But now that spot is now for Ricochet over on Monday Night Raw. Apollo Crews was sick of the Titus Catering chocolate cupcakes. So he was sick of the cupcakes. And he's like, you know what, Titus? I'm quitting the cupcake making. I quit Titus Catering. I want championship gold on SmackDown, the Intercontinental Championship, taking the title off Big E. Cupcakes? No. I'm not hungry for cupcakes. I'm hungry for gold. Now Ricochet's now the cupcake maker on Monday Night Raw and Titus Catering. But and then when Paul Heyman went to SmackDown to manage the tribal chief Roman Reigns ahead of the table, then when that happened, then Cruz went to SmackDown, and now look where Cruz is at right now. Raw is wishing they had Paul Heyman there now. Now look where Raw is at right now. Raw's the worst show. Raw is the worst show on television, but yeah, Cruz always good in the ring, but he had no charisma. But now he's being more of himself now. But also, I read on Twitter not long ago that Wally, who made Big E's current new theme song, is performing for Big E at WrestleMania. Do you think Big E is losing here just off this alone?
I knew Big E was going to lose right before this, but this just confirms it that Big E is losing at WrestleMania, and he should lose at WrestleMania because they've been building this feud up since January with Apollo Crews and Big E, where Apollo has lost like 4 matches to Big E. I think he lost to him at Fastlane. He lost to him on SmackDown.
They had that botch at Fastlane, which looked terrible.
Yeah. And then they named this match for WrestleMania Nigerian Drum Fight. You're not gonna call a match a Nigerian Drum Fight just to have Apollo Crews, who has a Nigerian gimmick. You're not gonna call a match after his gimmick and have him lose. That just makes no sense. So
and that would bury Apollo Crews, that make him just dead.
Yeah, exactly. And there's stuff for Big E to do after WrestleMania. He can go up to the main event picture, and
you could put
maybe
Big E in the Money in the Bank in May.
Yeah, you could. You could feud him with Rollins, maybe. You could put him in there with like not now, but like later down the line. You put him in there with Roman. But if Apollo loses, there's nothing for him to do on SmackDown. So he needs to be the Intercontinental Champion.
And if Big E retains, who else is there for Big E? Shinsuke Nakamura, Aleister Black. I miss it, but I don't know if he's coming back though. Daniel Bryan, he's a babyface. Edge is a heel in the main event. So, and like Cesaro, maybe, but he's a babyface. You could do Rollins, but if Big E retains, who else is there for Big E to face? There's not much.
I don't know.
I think Apollo Crews should really win the title here. I think it's his time. I truly think it's Apollo Crews' time. When you know it's a guy's time, it's a guy's time.
Yep, I'm taking Crews.
And even when I told this whole story where like Big E and Crews, when they fought for the IC title on SmackDown in January this past year, where it was a double pin, and the ref then Cruz said no, restart the match, and then Cruz slapped Big E. Big E wakes up, and it's like he just beats Apollo Cruz. It was a good match and all, and then right after that, remember that Talking Smack episode where Paul Heyman said to Cruz, "You're too nice of a guy. You're not here to make friends. You and Big E are not friends." And he said something about knocking Big E's door down, and then they bleeped Paul Heyman out, and it was great. And Heyman's like, "Cruz, you're letting your nice personality ruin your career. You're letting it get in your way," and it was great. And I think Heyman really lit the fire right under Apollo's ass, and I think that's where Apollo. And it's like this heel Nigerian Apollo Cruz. You're never gonna convince me that this is not Paul Heyman DNA. This is Paul Heyman DNA written all over it. There's no way this is Bruce's writing. If this was Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon writing this, they'd bury it instantly like that. You know?
Absolutely.
So this has Heyman DNA written all over it. I would not even be surprised if Daniel Bryan even has a say in this too, because he's on the SmackDown creative team, while Edge is on the Raw creative team. And you can see like Daniel Bryan's a little bit of influence on SmackDown, like Cesaro on television, Shinsuke Nakamura on television, Big E on TV, Apollo Crews getting some attention on TV. Daniel Bryan knows his shit about pro wrestling. There's no denying that. And I have to say, man, Apollo Crews, if he doesn't win, there's nothing. I would have to agree with you, Joe. There's nothing for Apollo Crews if he doesn't win this thing. Crews should win the IC title. And if Crews wins the IC title, which he should, if not Kevin Owens, what about Aleister Black and Apollo Crews? Remember the Raw after WrestleMania last year on Raw? It was that Aleister Black Apollo Crews match. They went at least 30 minutes. The match was very good. Aleister Black won, but the match was very good. What if they do that again 1 year later, but on SmackDown, but this time over the IC title, and this time with Crews as a heel?
I like it. It makes sense. But do you trust these people? It's not happening, dude.
No.
Nah.
I would love to see Aleister Black back, but I don't know if he's coming back at this point. He may not.
At this point, I don't want him to. It's for his better, honestly.
Yeah. Or send him back down to NXT, but you know Vince doesn't like being wrong.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we both got Apollo Crews on the board. Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. This match came about, well, originally this match was never supposed to happen. The original plans was supposed to be Lacey Evans defending the Raw Women's title against Charlotte Flair. And then Lacey Evans got legit pregnant. Then it changed to Charlotte and Asuka for the Raw Women's title, with Charlotte as a babyface and Asuka as a heel. That would have failed miserably. And then Charlotte unfortunately tested positive for COVID-19. And she'll probably miss WrestleMania this year. She probably will. And then it changed to Asuka Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's title. And like Rhea Ripley was legit a plan C this whole time. And this match came about like 2-3 weeks, no build, no nothing. There's no story behind it. And Rhea, if you wanted Rhea and Asuka for the Raw Women's title at Mania this year, if you wanted that, then Rhea should have main evented on Monday Night Raw on the Raw roster the night after the Rumble this year on February 1st on Raw of this year. Why you waited this whole time to do this is absolutely just mind-boggling to me. And Rhea has not, like Rhea Ripley, she's not wrestled one match on Raw outside of a match on the Raw Golem show with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and Rhea Ripley, where can the champion and challenger get along? Can they coexist? Can they get on the same page? That match made no sense, and they had Rhea turn heel by turning on her own partner Asuka. Just formulaic garbage, to be honest with you, Joe. And it's like, again, oh, but Rhea Ripley was the runner-up in the Royal Rumble for the women this year, man. Bianca won the Rumble, not Rhea Ripley. So it's like, what has Rhea done to even earn a shot at Asuka? Nothing. It's like title shots nowadays. You say title shot or title, and it's like boom, you get a title shot without even having to do anything to earn it. It should be a good match. Don't get me wrong, but it's just there's no story behind this in the match. It should be a good match, but it's like the match doesn't make any sense because Rhea's done nothing to earn a shot at the Raw Women's title. But
Yep.
what are your thoughts on this?
I agree with everything you've said. The match should be great. It's Rhea Ripley and Asuka. They're two very good wrestlers. But you could have a great match. That's fine. But you need to have crowd investment. And I feel like with this match, doesn't have enough crowd investment because there's no story behind it. How are you going to get me behind a match?
What do they eat? What's even the story? There is none.
I don't know. I guess the story. If I had to guess, I guess the story is Rhea Ripley's ready for. I don't even know. I seriously don't know. But
like Rhea is like, I want you, Asuka, and Rhea points to the sign. Then Asuka's like, you're not ready for Asuka. Then boom, it's like, what? It's just a big logic gap. There's no logic. There's no story. Rhea's done nothing. Rhea's not wrestled one match on Raw to earn a shot against Asuka. This was the match the whole time. Rhea should have debuted on the Raw roster the night after the Rumble, but they didn't do it. And now it looks worse now.
Yep.
And Rhea's in this spot also for another reason, Joe. Raw Women's division is atrocious because they have no one else. That's why Rhea's in the spot against Asuka, because they have nobody else. Like Nikki Cross, where is she? Mia Yim with Retribution, that's a fail, and that is done good. Alexa Bliss, she's a valet for the Fiend. Mandy Rose, I like her, but what has she done? Dana Brooke, no thank you. Nia Jax, yeah, no thank you. Shayna Baszler, she's dead. Who else is there? Naomi, I like, but what has she done? Lana, hell no. Definitely not Lana. Definitely not Lana. The Raw Women's division is laughable, Joe. It really is. SmackDown does no better, but my God, is Raw's just absolutely laughable. Just look who they have on the Raw Women's division. It's laughable. But I think we do get into women's champion. Go ahead. Yeah, just look who they have. It's like Dana Brooke, Lana, Peyton Royce is decent, but she's not there yet. Lacey Evans, she's out pregnant, and Lacey Evans sucks anyway. Charlotte Flair, don't even get me started on her. The Charlotte Flair agenda is absolutely nauseating. Watch Rhea beat Asuka, or Asuka beat Rhea, and then Charlotte comes back to Raw after Mania and wins that Raw Women's title. Watch. It's coming. It's coming. But I did hear, listen to this, I did hear a while ago, Rhea Ripley, just like Big E, she's having a band performing for Rhea for her entrance this weekend at WrestleMania. So just like Big E, I think Rhea's going to lose here. Plus,
really?
I mean, I think Rhea, I want to predict Rhea, but just based off the band performance for Rhea this Sunday, and plus, Rhea turned on Asuka and Rhea stood tall over Asuka this past Monday on Raw. Usually, in WWE logic, whoever stands tall on the go-home show usually loses the match at said pay-per-view. But, I mean, I want Rhea to win. I think Rhea should win because Asuka hasn't done jack shit with that Raw Women's title. She hasn't defended the title on pay-per-view since Clash of Champions last year against Zelina Vega. Remember that?
Dude, that was a pre-show match. Sheesh.
Then it changed on the main show or whatever. Didn't know.
I have no idea. I don't even remember that match even happened, but I think that title has to get off of Asuka. Rhea
she hasn't done
nothing
with it, and it's not even her fault. Her reign has been so piss poor. So piss poor.
Exactly. I feel bad for her for how bad her title reign's been. They got to get that title off of her. I'm not saying Rhea Ripley is magically overnight going to make the Raw Women's Championship better, but I think the title needs to be on somebody new, and I think it'd be a good decision if you put the title on Rhea and give her a run with it. See what she can do. with the Raw Women's Championship. So we might be
Exactly.
different on this. We might be different on this one. I am taking Rhea for the win.
Yeah. And I like Rhea Ripley, but am I the only one that's thinking they've been forcing like manufacturing Rhea as of late? She was never this way in NXT.
What do you mean they've been forcing her? Like, what do you why do you think they're
Like
forcing her
manufacturing
to
it,
us?
trying to have her come off as like just not natural like she was in NXT because anything Raw touches turns to shit.
I haven't felt that yet. You might have, but I don't know. Maybe they will in a few months because it's WWE. But
I don't
mean,
trust Monday Night Raw to do anything right with her.
me neither. Me neither. But
Just look at
at the
WrestleMania
end,
36 when they fed her to Charlotte. What that was
don't
terrible.
bring. Oh God,
That
don't even
that
bring
was
that up,
awful.
dude. But yeah, Rhea wins. She's the new Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah. Time for new blood in the Raw Women's division. And with rumors of Becky and Ronda coming back, I don't know where they land in with the plans of things, but I do pick Rhea, but I mean I want Rhea to win, but based on WWE logic, I'm picking Asuka though. I do think it's like Charlotte Asuka. Who wants to see that after WrestleMania? I mean, Charlotte's winning that Raw
Nobody.
Women's title either way after WrestleMania, but I may have to pick Rhea. I mean, based on WWE logic, yeah, Asuka, but I may have to pick Rhea on this one. I do think we get a title change though, regardless. With Rhea Ripley as the new Raw Women's Champion, I truly think that. So then the next match on the card, we got the Women's Tag Team Championship match: Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler with Reginald versus the winners of the Women's Tag Team Turmoil match. Main roster women's tag team titles, worthless. They should have been sent down to NXT permanently. Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai should have beat Shayna and Nia for those titles weeks ago in NXT, but they didn't do that. And why? Because Vince doesn't want a Raw team to get embarrassed by an NXT team. And I guarantee you, Triple H had every intention to get the main roster women's tag titles onto NXT permanently with Raquel and Dakota holding them. But Vince didn't want that because Vince, because if Vince allowed that, Vince would be admitting failure, and Vince doesn't like being a failure. So, then they created the NXT women's tag titles. They're just as worthless, in my opinion. And with the main roster women's tag titles, Shayna and Nia, I think they're dropping those titles. And I want to say this, Joe. I do. I like Shayna Baszler, I do, but man, oh man, she is worth so much more than being paired with a Hazard and Nia Jax. And Reginald, don't even get me started on him, that Kofi Kingston lookalike. Reginald, that flippy Reginald. Ugh, awful. I don't even want to waste so much time on this because that's how worthless the women's tag titles are. Just burn them. Have Kane come out and burn the women's tag team titles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to waste too much time on this match. I'm just going to get right to the point. I think Naomi and Lana win the gauntlet, and I think they're going to end up winning the titles on Sunday. Say no more.
I'm picking the Riot Squad because they're the only legit women's team to win them, but I don't know. But yeah, women's tag titles on the main roster just worthless. Just get those titles off Shayna and Nia. They're worthless either way. If Shayna and Nia hold them, or if they're off of Shayna and Nia. But anyways, moving on to the next match on night 2, the United States Championship match. Matt Riddle defending the United States Championship against the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. Now, these two have fought each other before. I think it was that I think it was the second or third Raw after the draft last year in the fall, where it was a Raw match with Sheamus and Matt Riddle. The match was very good. Sheamus won, but the match was very, very good.
Yeah.
And on that Raw episode, which was terrible, the only good thing on that night, on that Raw episode, was Matt Riddle and Sheamus. They also fought on Raw a few weeks ago where Sheamus in a non-title match beat Matt Riddle, which I didn't agree with because champions shouldn't lose clean in non-title match situations. And now it's like we're getting the match again when he could have done a number of contenders with Sheamus for somebody else not named Matt Riddle. But here we are. It should be a decent match, but I got to pick Sheamus to win the U.S. title, man. I got to pick that. I think Matt Riddle, as much as I like him, I heard it was supposed to be Keith Lee winning that U.S. title at the Chamber this past February, but then Vince gave up on Keith Lee and all. But then it's like Matt Riddle was never in the plans for U.S. champion, though I like him. But look at what Raw has done to Matt Riddle, man. Poor Matt Riddle. This would have never happened in NXT with Matt Riddle. Scooters, and then listen to this. This past Monday on Raw, they have birds in his entrance when he does this thing, entrance pose in the middle of the ring. And I'm like, what? Like, how ridiculous can that freaking be? And it's like they really turned him into a geek on Monday Night Raw. I know, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. But I got to pick Sheamus to win the U.S. title here. I think he wins here. And look at Sheamus, like from the Raw before Fastlane and at Fastlane and the Raw after Fastlane, or a few weeks before Fastlane on Monday Night Raw. For those weeks, he lost to McIntyre twice. He lost to Lashley twice, clean with Sheamus. So I truly think Sheamus should win this thing because if he does it, it's like you're just making Sheamus but it's because it's like if Matt Riddle wins, you're just making Sheamus into a loser. I like Sheamus. He's doing the best work of his career, but if Sheamus loses here to Matt Riddle, you're just making Sheamus into a loser, in my opinion. So I think Sheamus should win the U.S. title here. Your thoughts?
Yeah. We might be different on this one. I'm taking Riddle to retain. I'm going to take Riddle to retain here. You can easily revisit the Sheamus and Riddle match down the road. You can even have Sheamus win the title in a later date, maybe. But I just think WWE is going to have Riddle retain in this U.S. Championship match. I think there is more challenges for him down the road. A possible match with Randy Orton. I would like to see. If he ever comes back to TV, the person I want to take the title off of Matt Riddle, and personally, the U.S. title match I wanted was Matt Riddle against Keith Lee, but Keith Lee's off of television. He is the person I want to take the title off of Riddle. Maybe Damian Priest. I'm not so sure about that. I think that should be a great match, but I'm taking Riddle to retain here.
Yeah. Damian Priest, Matt Riddle would be nice. Orton and Riddle would be nice, and Orton puts him over. That's a big deal of a match there. Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, that would be nice too. Unless I just don't put the handcuffs on them and let them go out there and let them freaking wrestle. But you're going Matt Riddle, I'm going Sheamus. Should be a decent match, but we'll have to see what they do with the U.S. title going forward. And your thoughts real quick on Matt Riddle and Scooters. Fan or no fan? I'm not really a fan of it.
Not a fan, man. Not a fan. Even the entrance thing from Monday Night Raw. Tweet with the birds.
I sat there and I even with my Raw review live right after the show with Raw this past Monday, I buried that show this past Monday on Raw, rightfully so, and I went off on that Matt Riddle tweet thing with this entrance thing in the ring. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, how ridiculous does this look? You would have never seen this in NXT. It's like, why change something that doesn't need to be changed? Like, you know what they say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's like, why change something just for the sake of changing it? Oh, but you need to change, adapt, and evolve all the time, man. You can't be the same old shit all the time, man, says the clowns on social media. It's like, again, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's like, you know, this would have never happened at NXT, but it happens here on Monday Night Raw. It's like NXT, it's like you would never see this in NXT, but Raw, they just everything they touch turns right to shit. It's just mind-boggling. But hopefully it's a decent match with Matt Riddle and Sheamus. And then the very next match on night 2, we got The Fiend with Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. So The Fiend and Randy Orton. The Fiend and Randy Orton. These two have been feuding since October. They've been feuding for about 6 months. About 6 months. Right?
Around there, yeah.
So 6 months too long, if you ask me. The Fiend, I have to be honest with you, The Fiend is dead. They killed The Fiend ever since Hell in a Cell 2019 with that Hell in a Cell DQ finish with Seth Rollins, and with Goldberg and Saudi Arabia Super Showdown 2020, which put The Fiend right in the grave. Just dirt over. And then TLC last year with the Inferno match with Orton and The Fiend, Orton burying The Fiend. Well, he didn't really, with Orton burning The Fiend, but he didn't really burn The Fiend. It was just like a prop dummy of The Fiend, not the actual Fiend. Just to let you guys know. So those are the 3 strikes, and The Fiend is just completely dead. And now The Fiend is back with a burned version of The Fiend, and it's like, now with a new version of The Fiend, it's not going to be as good at all like it was at SummerSlam 2019. That Fiend character at SummerSlam 2019 against Finn Balor was freaking great. It was great. And then Hell in a Cell 2019 with Seth Rollins. And then after that, it was game over for The Fiend. That Hell in a Cell DQ finish was strike number 1. It was that bad. It was that freaking bad. Orton, a 14-time world champion. What do you think? Do you think this is doing this food? Do you think it's doing Orton no favors whatsoever, or do you think they should get him in something more different? I think Orton deserves a lot better than what's going on with him right now.
That all I know is feud needs to end after WrestleMania. This is it. We're done after this. Move on. The Fiend is gonna win. He's probably gonna squash him, which I have not squash him, but he's gonna beat him in
I
a
hope
very...
not squashed him. That's a 14-time world champ Randy Orton, and that's how you're gonna. That's the best you got for Orton. Come on.
Nah, I mean, like maybe like a 5-minute match. I'm fine with that. I don't want to see them wrestle for 15 minutes. Max,
you remember their match from WrestleMania 33? That was like slow and methodical, just headlocks and body scissors.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, don't do
bad.
that formula for their match at Mania this weekend. But 5 minutes, okay, but just end the feud.
No question, Bray Wyatt wins.
I honestly, I've got to be honest with you. I'd be lying to you if I told you I had any interest in The Fiend and Randy Orton and their shit on Raw. I have zero interest in that. Zero. Orton deserves better than what he's doing right now. The Fiend is a dead character. You can thank Bill Goldberg for that, who buried The Fiend at Super Showdown Saudi Arabia last year, 2020, which was god awful. I don't want to give you nightmares. I don't want to remind you of that, but yeah, I think The Fiend wins. Just have The Fiend win, end this feud with The Fiend and Orton, and just have both guys move on to different things. That's all I gotta say on that. And I'm sure you, Joe, that's all you gotta say on that match there. Just have The Fiend win. Just have The Fiend win and just get it over with.
Yep.
And I'm hearing rumors of the Alexa Bliss with a new Fiend mask. Please no. And I do have to say this. Like, Bray Wyatt's lucky he's with Alexa Bliss right now, because if he wasn't, guess where The Fiend would be right now?
Where?
Right in the grave, 16 feet under instead of 12 feet under.
Yeah, that could be. But I'm excited to talk about this main event, this triple threat main event.
Yes, and the much better match than Orton and The Fiend. And this, I truly believe, is the main event. No questions asked. No doubt about it. This is the main event of night number 2. Triple threat match for the Universal Championship coming from SmackDown. the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman defending the Universal Championship against the Rated R superstar Edge and against the leader of the Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan. This match I'm very excited for on night number 2. I really am. Roman Reigns is a god right now. He is untouchable at this point. Roman Reigns as a heel, he's way better as a heel than a babyface, and I'm loving Roman Reigns right now. He is literally one of the best parts of SmackDown right now, outside of Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns is just, and you know he has that golden glove. Anything Roman touches turns just to gold. Look at what he did with Kevin Owens, and look at what he's doing now with Edge and Daniel Bryan. Roman's great. There's absolutely no denying that. And Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns makes it even better, in my opinion, if you ask me. Now, it should be a good match, don't get me wrong. But do you honestly think it should have been Drew and Edge and Bryan and Roman?
Okay. So
because
first,
I heard Bryan originally was supposed to win the Rumble this past January for the men, but I heard Edge booked himself to win.
Yes, I heard that as well. But here's where I stand at this. I said this on other people's shows, and I'm gonna say it on your show right here. I was okay with the original Edge and Roman Reigns match, but then I realized how WWE they started booking it, and they booked Edge to be a heel, and if they booked a one-on-one match, they knew Edge was gonna get booed.
Right out of the building.
Yeah, at the stadium. So, 100% Roman Reigns was gonna get cheered as the heel against Edge as the face. So they had to add Bryan in there for that simple fact, and they had to turn Edge heel, which I mean I'm cool with. And
he's a much better heel as a baby. He's a much better villain than he is a baby face. I'm telling you right now. Just look at Edge's work with John Cena in 06 and his stuff with Undertaker and Batista in 2007. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And then Bryan is also in there to make the match better. He's in there to make the match better, to tell a better story. And
yet there's trolls on social media saying, oh, and I know it's like you're in the channel with the F-bombs and all. Fuck Daniel Bryan, man. He's all nosy in Edge's business, man. He needs to mind his own business. He has no right to be in Edge's Mania match. He's way too goddamn nosy in Edge's Mania business, man. Yet there's trolls who say that. Go watch Edge vs. Jey Uso on SmackDown weeks ago. Remember that? And Edge versus Jey Uso. I got to be honest with you. That looking back on that match, that was not a good match. Just look at Edge with the top rope Hurricane Rana, and Edge almost killed himself. So if that match wasn't good, imagine how bad Edge versus Roman would have been one-on-one. Probably would have been worse.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you not add Daniel Bryan in there? He makes the match that better. And I like Edge and I like Roman, but can those two carry a match? No.
I don't think so.
Someone like Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Nakamura, Gargano, Rollins, Cesaro, those guys can carry a match. Kenny Omega as well. Those guys can carry a match, not Roman and not Edge. So why would you not add Daniel Bryan in this thing? And you're not leaving Daniel Bryan off WrestleMania. I'm telling you right now, if you would have left him off WrestleMania, that would have been an absolute just travesty. It's like leaving Undertaker off WrestleMania back in this prime. You're not going to do that. And if Bryan wasn't, and if it wasn't going to be, and if you don't add Daniel Bryan to Edge and Roman, what else was Bryan going to do at WrestleMania? Fight Rollins and Cesaro? No. Daniel Bryan in the SmackDown Tag Team title match situation? No. Bryan in the IC title situation? No. Daniel Bryan in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? Hell no. Hell no. Because I don't think he'd win it, and if he would, it would not mean two shits if he won it. Like Who is he like? Who is he gonna be? Humberto Carrillo, Akira Tozawa, like two losers over on Monday Night Raw? Like, come on. Why would you not add Daniel Bryan? He makes the match that much better, and it makes the match more unpredictable and the match much more easier to like just to digest, much more like less worrying about it. Because if you do Edge versus Roman one-on-one, Roman certainly can't lose, and if Edge beats Roman, that buries Roman. And it's like if you do a triple threat with Daniel Bryan involved, Roman doesn't have to eat the pinfall. Edge could win the title by pinning Daniel Bryan, or Bryan could win the title by pinning or submitting Edge. But and Roman doesn't have to eat the pinfall or submission, because you're definitely not beating Roman Reigns. You're definitely not beating the head of the table. I'm telling you right now. But your thoughts on all this, and thoughts on the trolls saying that, and your thought on what are your thoughts on the trolls saying that Daniel Bryan is all nosy in Edge's business, quote unquote.
I just don't get why they want to. I really legit think that they are saying stuff like that to piss off the wrestling fans that actually care about the product. I really think that they're just saying that to piss people off. But what I think is going to happen is Daniel Bryan does not need to be the Universal Champion. He's in there.
Really?
He's not going to win the title.
You don't think he wins and sends the crowd home happy?
Nah, Daniel Bryan does not need to be the Universal Champion. Edge does not need to be the Universal Champion. Actually, what I would do is I would do Daniel Bryan and Edge in their own feud after Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns, however, needs to be the Universal Champion. He needs that title. If he doesn't have that title, what are you doing with him? Like, what do you? He has miles and miles and miles to go with that championship. So
he's not even at the peak yet.
No,
he's not. Roman's a god right now. He's untouchable. Why would you take the title off him? It's like what NXT does. When someone's that great at what they do, you don't take the title off them. When you find someone else that's close enough to the champion, or if not better, then that's when you take the title off the champion.
Yeah, I don't think you should take the title off of him, honestly, until either Royal Rumble 2022 or next year's WrestleMania. I'm straight up serious when saying that. So, absolutely, Roman Reigns retains.
Yeah. I mean, Edge could pin Bryan, or Bryan could pin or submit Edge, but honestly, if I was booking this, if I was in charge booking this match, I would have Roman go over and retain. To be brutally honest, I would have Roman retain, and I would have Roman hold that title to at least SummerSlam. In fact, I'd have Roman hold the title throughout this whole entire year of 2021 and drop it and hold on to it until next year's WrestleMania in Dallas at WrestleMania 38 in 2022, where he drops it, I think, and I think he should drop it to either Cesaro or Big E. And that's just me, though.
I think he's going to drop it to Drew McIntyre, if I'm totally honest with you. That's what I think is happening. Yep.
Unless they move McIntyre to SmackDown in the next draft, which they may, because if Drew wins the title, because if Drew wins the title for a third time, the WWE title because if Drew's on Raw as a WWE champ for a third reign, I don't trust Raw to do it right at all, because they fucked McIntyre with the WWE title over, because they fucked over McIntyre with the WWE title not once but twice. I don't trust Raw at all with them with McIntyre's WWE champ for a third time. And after McIntyre loses the WWE title on Raw for a third time, what's left for Drew to do on Raw? There's nothing. So it's like with the next draft, I think they move McIntyre to SmackDown for Seth Rollins, to be honest with you, Joe.
Yep, I think McIntyre is going to win the title at WrestleMania this year. Drops the title to whoever at SummerSlam. He gets moved over to Friday Night SmackDown, and my prediction for next year's WrestleMania main event is Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
Do you think we eventually get Roman Reigns and The Rock, though, eventually?
In Hollywood, yeah. Maybe not for the title, but I think we won't get that.
Do you think it needs the title, to be honest?
I don't know. It's too early to really say if it needs the title, I think.
I mean, The Rock and Roman Reigns would make sense because Roman's the tribal chief and they're both Samoan, so it would be a great promo build, and it would make sense, but I don't know. I think we do get that eventually, though, but you're going McIntyre and Roman next year's Mania. Okay, we'll see what happens. But I mean, it could happen, but we'll see what they do. But I remember McIntyre and Reigns had a very good match last November at the Survivor Series. But yeah, I think we both got Roman on the board to retain. Do you think also Jimmy Uso comes back and interferes in this match and helps Roman retain? Because Jimmy Uso is
No,
ready to come back any day now.
nah, I don't. Maybe they'll save him for SmackDown after, but nah, I don't see him showing up at WrestleMania. Roman needs to retain that.
Go ahead.
I said I think Roman needs to retain clean.
Yeah. When someone's that great at what they do, you do not take the title off them. Look what NXT does. Look at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Night number 1 with Io Shirai. She had a fantastic reign as NXT Women's Champ. Then it came to the point where she beat most of the division. Then they take it off her and give it to Raquel Gonzalez. It's like case in point. When you have someone that is that great at what they do, you do not take the championship off them. You don't. When there's someone else along the line that is close enough, if not better than the current champ, then that's when you take the title off the champion. The same thing with Roman Reigns. He should not lose that title until at least SummerSlam. He should not lose that title all year. In fact, I'd have him hold the title all year. Because right now, there's no one close enough to Roman right now. There's nobody right now.
Yep.
I mean, Cesaro may get, I hope Cesaro beats Seth Rollins, but is he there yet right now? No, maybe later on down the line, but now, no. But that's just my opinion on that. And thank God Edge turned heel too. Imagine, and I would absolutely agree with you, Joe, if they would have kept Edge as a babyface and Roman as a heel, yeah, Edge would have been booed right out of the building. You know Vince didn't want that. And the match with Edge and Jey Uso, that's all Vince needed to know and that's why, according to rumors, that's why Vince changed the match to a triple threat because he thought Edge was too old. So it's like, but Daniel Bryan in the match does make the match better. I'm looking forward to this match. And Daniel Bryan said it for weeks, it might be his last big time Mania match, though. His contract is up in September. I don't think he's going to AEW. I think he signed a new contract with the WWE, but he goes part-time because he wants to be a full-time father.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, he may, not retire, but not be booked every single week in and week out. And he's only booked when it's important, like booked 2 weeks out of the 4 weeks each month to put in a nutshell. That's just me on all that. We both got Roman Reigns on the board. He should retain. If he's not going to retain, don't have him eat the pin. But I would have Roman retain at the end of the day. And that is that for the WrestleMania 37 Night 2 preview and predictions. And that is that. Night 2 looking like a better night. Night 2 looks like a much better night than night number 1, outside of Cesaro and Seth Rollins and Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And also, before we end the video shortly, do you think we get Bayley on one of the nights? She's not booked for WrestleMania, which is a crime, but what are your quick thoughts on that?
I'll give it a quick thought, sure. Either A, she's in a promptu match against Charlotte Flair, or B.
Wait, don't give them ideas, Joe.
I'm trying not to, but I'm just trying to think what's happening. Either A, she has an impromptu match with Charlotte, or B, she hosts a segment, Ding Dong Hello, and she brings out Becky Lynch or something like that. So that's what I think could happen.
Becky and Ronda, according to rumors from WWE president Nick Khan, him with Vince McMahon in his shareholder meetings, which is comedy hour over there, usually with Vince spreading lies. But Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, according to WWE president Nick Khan, Becky and Ronda are rumored to return fairly soon. Where do you think both women end up?
If I had to pick a brand, whenever they return, I don't know. Becky goes to Raw, Ronda goes to SmackDown because SmackDown's on the bigger network.
And weren't there rumors in 2019 when SmackDown, before they moved to Fox, that Fox really wanted Ronda on SmackDown if they weren't going to get Brock Lesnar?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's like Fox wants, they get, you know. I know
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is on SmackDown and they don't like breaking up couples, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or, Raquel Gonzalez is the new NXT Women's Champion, and Io Shirai is no longer the NXT Women's Champion. Do you think we see Io at WrestleMania feud with and wrestle Bayley?
Nah, I don't think we see Io on Bailey, but I do think that we do see her on the SmackDown after WrestleMania.
Yeah. And I want to be honest with you. I don't want Io Shirai in the main roster. I don't. But if you're going to call her up, for the love of God, don't send her to Monday Night Raw. Don't. Put her on SmackDown. Io and Bayley, Io and Sasha Part 2, Io versus Bianca Belair, Io versus Ruby Riott, Io versus Liv Morgan, Io Natalia, Io versus Becky if she feuds with Bayley. Some nice matches there, but Raw, please no. Please no. Especially with Charlotte on the show. Yeah, that's enough for me. But that is that. And that is that for the WrestleMania 37 night number 2 preview and predictions video for night number 2 WrestleMania 37. Follow me on Twitter at FioriNick579. Follow me on Instagram at NicholasFiore2014. And follow me on Facebook at Nicholas_Fiore31. Add me as a friend on Facebook if you guys want to. And hit the like button on the video. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're not done so already. Hit the bell for all notifications as well, so you're notified and all. And Joe, where can we follow you, brother?
You can follow me on Twitter at Conlon_Joseph. Same thing on Instagram, Conlon_Joseph. You can subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. We are 16 subscribers away until 400 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss both vlogs for WrestleMania. I'm very excited to be vlogging for you guys. And, Nick, I appreciate you bringing me on your show today. It's been a long time coming. We've been planning it for a long time. And I appreciate the offer, man. I will come on your channel. Anytime to talk about a pay-per-view whenever you want me to. I will love to be on the show whenever.
All right. Awesome. It's been really great to have you, Joe. And you're right, it has been a long time coming. I've been on your channel twice and all. And finally getting you on the channel, I think it's been great. And guys, like Joseph Conlon said, subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel as well if you've not done so already. Get Joe to 400 subscribers, 16 away. Come on. So subscribe to Joe's channel, the Big Fight Field channel, if you've not done so already. And that is that. Thank you guys so much for joining Joseph Conlon and I for the preview predictions video for WrestleMania 37, night number 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for joining us. Hope you have a good rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time right here on the channel for more good content, right here on the Furious Nation YouTube channel, right here on YouTube.com. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll talk to you guys later.